Hello, my name is Carole. Welcome to my sewing room. Today I'm going to be talking to you about two things. One of them is my entry for the Sew Phoenix September 2025 hashtag that has been going around, and it's hosted by three of the loveliest ladies on YouTube that we all know. One of them is Rachel from the French Seams, one is Catherine from Soverton Makery, and the other one is, of course, everybody knows Sam, So Let's Sparkle with Sam. Now, I'll put all the links down below. I'm not part of the vlogging tour, but I really wanted to take part because I had something particular in mind. So I'm going to talk to you about that. I didn't learn what I thought I was going to learn, but this is typical me, isn't it? The second thing I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to say it's my autumn plans because I never make plans, but my autumn musings. I've swapped my wardrobe over now, got a few gaps, and I've pulled out a few patterns, and I'm just going to show you a few of the things I think I might be making in the coming months. No promises, no guarantees with me. But first of all, let's talk about the Sew Phoenix challenge. Now, if you've watched my channel for any length of time, or even if you're brand new, there's, especially on my Friday sews, there's always something that's in the beginning of my videos. And that is this little fella. Now, I've shown him many times, but he is the first thing I ever sewed. And I reckon I was about 8 or 9. So I made him in school. As you know, there's lovely afternoons where you just sit and do a bit of sewing in a primary school. My mum used to come in and help, funnily enough, but I made it from this book. And again, luckily, I have not only kept the book, but he's been with me all my life. So he is easily 50 years old. When I started my channel, one of the things I said almost right back in the beginning, and I think even the first video, was I want to try making another one. Now, the Sew Phoenix challenge is all about remaking something that you made when you first started sewing and see how you have improved, whether it be a garment or a dress or item, could be anything. I knew September was going to be busy for me, a couple of holidays, away a lot. So I thought now is the perfect time to remake the hedgehog because it'll be quick, it'll be something I can take with me, and it'll be a doddle. So out came my book. Now, here are the instructions. Good instructions, telling you to trace off the pattern, cut it out, sew it up, stuff it, eyes and nose, dun-da-da, teaches you satin stitch, done. Okay, so this, obviously, I made when I was 9. So let's take a closer look at it. Now, just a closer look at the eyes and the stitching around the side. Now, it's not brilliant. Okay, this is what I thought. Okay, I'm going to go back on everything I've said, but it's not brilliant. Eyes aren't too bad. Nose is a little skewy, but I'd say all in all, that was a pretty good effort, wasn't it, for a 9-year-old? So I thought, mine's going to be amazing. Oh dear, I was so wrong. So I did what I did. I traced it out, as they said. I actually took it away with me when I went away. So I photocopied the instructions, traced it out, as you can see. Even marked the eyes, and I cut out 2 pieces of fabric. Now I'm going to have to admit it, I don't want to show you the finished item just yet because it'll be spoiling it, but I chose 2 more bright, more modern colours than the 1970s dark blue. So I had some felt scraps, perfect, thought I'd use those, nice and modern. So I took it away, I took some embroidery thread so I could go around the outside, and I took some black embroidery thread for the eyes. Here it is. It's not great, is it? So I've been sewing 50 years, you know, not concentrated, otherwise I'd be on the professionals, but it was hard, okay? It was hard. Now, you know, even these stitches here are not level, and boy did I sew this with care. I even did that trick where you mark a little line on your nail. I don't know if you've ever done that. I might have taken a photo. So you mark a little line between, so you can space it as you're sewing it. You use your line on your nail to keep the spaces even. They're even, but they're not brilliant. So went all the way around, stuffed it, finished it off, and then it came to the mouth and the eyes. They're horrendous. I tried to kind of double over. I was certainly not very good. And when I look at this one, I mean, they were beautiful. The nose, again, not brilliant. As you can see, I did a bit of a bodge there. And I honestly really tried, because I thought I was going to make something spectacular. The funniest thing is, even though I stuffed it to about the same consistency, I would say, mine came out tiny compared to the other one, which is great because this is the male and this is the female, and females are normally smaller than the males, aren't they, in the animal kingdom? Look. What was I expecting to learn? I was expecting to learn that all my years of sewing, I could recreate the perfect hedgehog pincushion, and I have got a very poor relation. What I will say that I did learn was hats off to my 8 or 9 year old self for making this, because it was pretty good. So there was me thinking I was so much smarter and better, but actually my 9-year-old self was quite talented in the sewing department. What happened to her? I don't know. So here we have my Sew Phoenix project. Now I could have chosen to do lots and lots of things, but sewing all my life, this isn't to say that I'm expert, because every single item I do, I improve. So, you know, the second time I do something, it's always slightly better. And I think we all say that no matter how long you've been sewing, you are always learning and you're always fine-tuning your methods. But this did not come out how I expected. I expected something marvellous, and I got, as I said, quite a poor relation to the original. So that was my Sew Phoenix project. Now there are amazing prizes on offer. I will be entering mine on Instagram, so you can all have a good old snigger at it. But yeah, keep your eye out, because if you go onto the hashtag, it's amazing things people have remade. And what I think amazed me so much is people that have only been sewing a few years started at a really high level, much higher than myself. So anyway, at least my hedgehog pincushion now has a little friend, and as I said, I've had it all my life and I still use it, as you can see. So there we go, that was my Sew Phoenix. So let's chat about my autumn plans-ish. Now, what do I think I'll be sewing for autumn? Well, I have a kind of 2 stages. The first stage is I normally go through the patterns and kind of pull them to one side, the ones that I'm interested in doing. And the second stage, one of those patterns will get matched up with a fabric and then hung ready to be put together. That doesn't always happen, because I have been known to put it all back before. But these are the ones that I had hung ready. So I thought I'd share them with you, and then I'll show you some of the patterns that I think I might make. So the 3 things I have in mind, I have made, and I haven't got a picture of this, but it's the Style Arc Raph. I want to call it Ralph, but it's Raph top. Now this was this polo neck top. It's quite like a golfing top, actually. I don't play golf. Like a polo neck top, just with a sort of a box placket here. Mid-length, like I like my sleeves. I made one in a really cheap piece of fabric. It was a sheet before, and one in a burgundy last year. And I found I really get used to them. Now I have this piece of fabric here is a cotton jersey that I've made a couple of things from before, but I think I might have enough to make another. I'm not sure. So that has been kind of teamed up with that Stylark Raph top. Now, second one is a piece of fabric I bought a couple of months ago, sort of my autumn, this lovely leaves. I'm just going to turn that into one of my favourite tops. This used to be New Look 6246, but it's now 6803 and just a loose style, mid-length, again, t-shirt. But I'm going to try and make that because that'll be lovely. Go with some greens and all sorts of things. And the third thing is, this is a piece of viscose that I've had a good couple of years. Again, autumnal. It's actually little owls. So I've got to make sure I get those the right way up actually. But I want to make just kind of a viscose simple top. It's not a blouse because it's just like a top. But it's this one here on Simplicity 8556. This top here. Now I have made this a few times. I've made it in a knit, and the size I've cut now is ready for a knit, but I'm going to have to go slightly bigger now because it does get quite tight across my chest. It looks plain, but actually the back of it has got this lovely yoke with this pleat detail and the split hem. This is not a great way to display it, as quite often happens. So that's what I'm thinking of doing with that. So they're at stage 2. The patterns are at stage 1. So we do jumpers or sweaters. So recently I made the sort of plain sweatshirt version of this Simplicity 8529, and I want to make another one of those in sort of a jumpery sweater fabric. So want to have a go at that. This is one I've made so many times before. I normally make it out of French terry, and I normally make the straight version. I have made the t-shirt version, but the t-shirt didn't work. It needed the weight of the sleeves to kind of bring it down. I have made this gathered version here, but that was a style a few years ago, so I won't be doing that now. So thinking of making that. This one was a recent pattern I bought, Simplicity 6761. I was going to do this, but much, much lower, a bit like the Hug hoodie. So everything is going to be lower, but still the cross detail. I bought this pattern last year and I didn't sew it. It's Sew House 7 Tabor V-neck. I don't know what I think about it. I don't like the front because that would be too low for me, but I did like the shaping on the back. So I wouldn't mind, because these patterns are expensive, having a go at that this year. Recently I talked about the Ailing blouse. I wore it last week and it reminded me that I really would like to make another of those. I've also dug out this pattern. This again could be quite a nice autumn blouse. I don't need formal blouses. I just sometimes want to wear something other than my t-shirts. So again, I might try that. Haven't tried that yet. This is a very similar one. I've made this many times before. I really do like the neck on this. What I don't like is the balloon sleeve. So that will be, and they are huge. I'm going to be reducing that right down. Pairs of trousers. Now, I went to remake these the other day. I made the purple pair of linen shorts this year. Really love the pattern, and I went to remake it, but it actually uses a huge amount of fabric. So, yeah, I've got to hold off on that one. I also talked about this pattern, New Look 6660. These are jeans I've made. Sort of in a denim. I'd like to try it in a thin needle cord if I can get hold of the right colour. So want to try those. And the last one, maybe this might be brave for me. In the summer, I made a kind of denim-y skirt, and I'm not a skirt girl, but I did enjoy wearing it. And I'm wondering about making a corduroy skirt and then just wear it with tights, because I do not want to wear jeans every day in autumn and winter. And this is a pattern I fall into. So I want to have options. I don't really go anywhere, but still I always like to be dressed up at home. I didn't very rarely ever go around in loungewear unless it's past about 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening. I just always think, suppose someone comes to the door, and because I don't have a reason to dress up, I feel I should even more just make myself put together every day, even if I'm just home. So I'm wondering about that. So those, I've got lots of fabric. I've got lots of sort of sweatery fabric. I've got a few jerseys, got lots of viscose jerseys, lots of viscose chalets. But those are the things I was thinking about that I would like to make. Now, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. It's very different for me midweek, giving you kind of a little roundup of what I've been doing, but I really hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to join me on #FridaySews or the Wheel of Fate or A Different View. I'm always here. I'm always here in my sewing room, so I love to chat to you all. Thank you so much again. Happy sewing, everybody, and have a wonderful week.